So am I getting softer in my old age? Maybe because I'm embracing electric vehicles. I'm enjoying them more and more. The more I spend time with them, the more I drive them, the more I like them. I don't like all of them. I still prefer V8s and rear-wheel drive and, you know, the smell of gasoline and all that stuff, but I am also not foolish about what is in store for our future. And I think an electric vehicle makes a pretty darn wonderful daily driver. A good case in point is this vehicle here. This is the Hyundai Kona Electric. And it's actually better than the gas version of the Kona, which is already a good subcompact crossover option. Why is it better? Well, it stays on the better side of 4,000 pounds. It adds 500 pounds switching to electric, but it is faster. So this thing weighs 3,700 pounds and it is quicker to 60. I shouldn't say faster, it's quicker. It is quicker to 60 than the all-wheel drive turbocharged gas model. And it does that because it has more horsepower and torque, and it is only sending it to the front wheels. So this is powered by a single 201 horsepower electric motor, makes 290 pound-feet of torque. And that motor is fed by a 64 kilowatt hour battery pack. The EPA says this will get 258 miles of range, and yeah, it's pretty bang on. This thing does really well. Really nice Land Cruiser. This thing does really well at hitting its estimated, EPA-estimated range. It is very efficient on the highway. It is easy to get the miles per kilowatt hour up when you're looking at your average in terms of how you're driving, how efficiently you're driving. I remember when I drove an Audi e-tron cross country, our goal was to hit about 2 miles per kilowatt hour, which is nothing that great, but it was enough to let us know that we were driving the vehicle well to get to our next destination. It was just a marker, a goal we were using. I'm driving this with no regard for it being efficient. I'm just driving it how I would normally drive it. So the driving mode is in normal mode, not in eco mode and not in sport mode. It's just in normal mode. And I have the adjustable regen set at level 2. Well, I guess it's technically 3 because 0, there's a 0. And I'm getting 3.5 miles per kilowatt hour. And earlier, before I started having a little bit of fun on a curvier road, I was getting 3.8 miles per kilowatt hour. So multiply that by the 64 kilowatt hour battery pack and you'll get, that's how you arrive at your range. I'll do the math later. I can't do it right now in my head. And that's just me driving normal and doing more highway driving than city driving. And so I'm aggressive on the throttle. I'm heavy on the throttle. It'd be very easy for someone who's not me to get, 4 miles per kilowatt hour and just drive this properly. So I mentioned that I was in the second of the 3, well, okay, so here's the thing. There are 5 regen modes on this. 4 of them are set it and forget it. So there's full off, where it just coasts. There's a level 1, a level 2, and then a level 3. So 0, 1, 2, 3 is 4 modes. Then there's a 5th mode where you can grab it's paddle activated, like paddle shifters. Since this is a single speed direct drive gearbox, though, there is no actual gears to shift. These paddles activate the different levels of regen. If you grab and hold the paddle, that enters the most aggressive 5th level of regen, and it brings it to full 1 pedal driving ability. With it set in the 2nd, so I guess you go the 3rd, so 0, 1, 2. So there's 2 arrows on the screen. I know it's getting a little confusing. There's 2 arrows of regen level on the screen right now. If I let off the gas, it slows down nicely. It's perfect for corners. It slows down nicely up to stoplights without being the most aggressive non-paddle holding version. Does that make sense? I think so. This is the way I like driving it. Now, if I pop the drive mode over here, I just popped it into sport and I felt the throttle response get a lot more active. It just got faster for sure. And then if I hit the button again, it just went, it's in eco mode. So I'm gonna keep it in normal. This is the mode I like. It says I have 51% battery left, the state of charge. It's giving me a range of 127 miles left to go, and it's telling me where the nearest station is. I have 0 range anxiety with this because there are now stations all over the place, especially, where I live in California, so there are stations everywhere. And I'm not talking about Tesla superchargers, which this cannot use. I'm talking about DC fast charging through Electrify America and ChargePoint and a handful of other smaller companies. And the good news is, unlike the Tesla systems, which are locked to Teslas, you can use the charge points and the Electrify Americas at any other station you find that is not a Tesla supercharger. And for the average person, if you buy this, you would most likely get a 240 volt setup, a level 2 setup installed at home, and just charge it there and never have to visit a charging station, because on a full charge, you're golden. And like I said, I'm diving even deeper into this EV rabbit hole. I'm liking these more and more, especially for daily drivers, especially as the range is going up, especially as the price is approachable. This thing starts at around $37, $38. I think a nicely equipped one, and there's not a lot of options. You just basically pick a trim. I think there's a base, a limited, and then there's a top spec one. This one has a head-up display. It has heated and cooled seats. It has wireless charging for my phone. It has a big screen right here in the center stack where I can have 3 different bits of information off a map, audio, and then battery state of charge and nearby charging stations. So there's plenty of information. I can have the AC set to driver only, which is a neat feature to conserve energy if you're driving by yourself. It has really good lane keep assist on the freeway and adaptive cruise control, so it is a well-rounded vehicle in terms of what it offers. And it's a modern Hyundai, so it is well built and looks good on top of that. That's subjective, of course, but I think it looks nice. They ditched the grille to let you know this is electric. I like that the charging port is in the nose rather than on one side, so when you pull into a station, it's going to be easier to reach that. The seats are comfortable. My one knock on the driving dynamics, the center of gravity is low, and it's lower than the regular Kona, obviously with the battery pack in the floor. Wisely, they designed this from an EV from the get-go, so there's no cabin intrusion with any of the electronic bits, and there's even more cubby space under the center tunnel because you don't have that transmission taking up all that room. So there's plenty of storage there, and it's a regular crossover. It's very usable space all over the place. So my one knock against the driving dynamics are, it's not the steering. The steering feels nice, the brakes feel good, it's easy to be light on them and get maximum regen and then dive harder into them as you need them. It's the suspension is a little bit too bouncy. It just feels too stiffly sprung, and they probably are trying to counteract the weight of the battery down there. I would find a way to soften that up a little bit. There's sections where it's bouncier than it needs to be. And that's it. That's really my only complaint. Everything else about this is great. This makes for a wonderful daily driver, and you would never need to visit a gas station again. And if you're plugging at home, you most likely won't be visiting charging stations unless you're taking a long drive in one of these, which because of the network and depending on where you're going, you're very much more able to do these days. You're probably, if you really, really wanted to do it, you can always rent another car or have a second car, but you don't need to do that anymore, which is a big deal. Yeah, this would be a great complement to something loud and obnoxious and stinking of race fuel on the other side of the garage or driveway. And now I said I'm going even further down the rabbit hole. I'm about to upgrade from condo to house, and the house I'm moving into already has solar on the roof and 240 installed in the garage. So I'm excited to test more of these and to test them accurately as someone who would own an EV or something that plugs in, how they would test it. So, you know, stay tuned for more of that. And also stay tuned for all the ridiculous dumb crap as well. I still have my Montero. I'm still planning to finish the Wombat someday with an LS3. And I still love horsepower and noise and torque and brake stands and burnouts. I also like electric vehicles now too. Do you like it? Yes? Who are you dressed as? Rainbow Dash? Okay. I think in the last video we listened to My Little Pony music, so this is appropriate. Do you like the car? What do you like about it? You like that you can put your foot there? Okay. That's a fine answer. I can appreciate that answer. Thank you for your input. Would you like to say anything to the camera? No? Okay. Can I have a high five? Thanks.
What kind of car did you think?
Okay, I'm gonna start recording now, okay, kiddo? Gotta talk loud though, because we're doing GoPro audio.
What is GoPro?
It's the audio directly in the camera because I forgot the memory card for my microphone. So, what? Are you gonna say something?
No.
Okay.